Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
And we've been following this Sonic Marathon. It's made my Sonic Marathon even extend more. I kid you not, I found a brand new copy out there of Sonic 06 on PS3. I'm like, fuck it, I'm taking it in. Gonna try this bad boy out again. And, dude, literally, like, well, this is the weird thing I'll say about that game. When that game opens up, that cutscene, like, CG that happens, like, right off the fucking bat, I'm like, shit, this looks like PS4 good. Like, what the hell? Like, somebody, like, this is where Sega dipped their money into. They're just like, oh, we're gonna make this cutscene look like fucking Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, well, a funny thing about that game is they were trying to rush it along, and Sega was in the middle of... I think they were in the middle... They either were in the middle of making or acquired a game that was going to be like a fantasy sci-fi RPG in the realm of Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. And then they just used assets for that and a bunch of things from it for Sonic.
Well, that's so what that game looks like. It literally looks like someone over there was like, oh, okay, we're making the next Phantasy Star game, and we're going to have this cool little, like, you know, French village that you go to. And someone's like, no, you're not making that anymore. Slap Sonic in there. Like, oh, well, he's not going to fit because nothing in here looks cartoony. You're like, no, he'll fit.
Well, it's also
I'm pretty
like...
sure you guys got computers. You fucking nerds. You can figure it out. Sega out.
I'm not going to lie, even though that's the game that's the biggest punching bag, and I think justifiably so, I think there are good ideas and good things in it, mm-hmm. But it's definitely this thing they really slapped together that really feels kind of uneven and kind of clunky, you know what I mean? Like, there is, like, major glitches, like, game-stopping glitches in that thing. And I'll be honest, I never played it just because... I played it, I never finished it, just because I got so frustrated with some of the shit, you know?
Oh, well, that's how it was. Like, I was starting it up, and I was literally just on, like, the first fucking level. And it's like, okay, go along, well, whatever. It's, you know, it's got, like, the little issues and so on, snags along the way. But I'm like, okay, it's not doing so bad and whatnot. And then I remember getting to, like, right to the Tails part. I'm like, this reminds me of literally 06, like, playing it at your house again. I'm like... Tails control, it's like whenever Tails jumps, he just shoots up fucking in the air. So is the camera too, and you're like, well, where am I gonna land at? Like, well, I guess I'll find out when I get there. Guess what? There's water right there.
When you hold the button too long for him to throw something, for some reason, I mean, it felt like we need to have him do something. What's he do? He throws fake rings. Why fake rings of all things? I don't know. It was an asset we had laying around. Let's repurpose this. That's all it really feels like. And it goes into this weird first-person mode for a second, and like totally throws the camera off whenever he does that. And more things
Plus,
like
it's
that.
not inverted, so it threw me off. Like, and I realized I couldn't switch it back, so I'd never use the. From that point on, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna use the auto aim, and hopefully hope that doesn't screw me over, because there is no way I'm gonna be aiming with that.
I mean, there are some cool things. We'll get into the IDW comic in a second, but since you brought up 06, I mean, there are cool ideas. Like the idea of, like, an apocalyptic city and Sonic or Shadow sliding down the side of, like, a toppled skyscraper. Mm-hmm. Like, there are really cool... There's cool imagery and cool ideas in it. And the idea of, like, Sonic's fighting the devil.
Yeah.
That's the bad guy of the game. They don't ever say, I am the devil, but more or less... like Memphis or Mephistopheles might as well be the fucking devil. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's like, you know, I think the character Iblis or whatever has inspiration of some devil from some demon of the Old Testament or something. So there's cool things in there. It's just very poorly executed and very poorly rushed.
Well, it's a game that I feel if they just gave it like that extra 6 months, I think it could have been dialed in pretty well. I'm not going to say it's going to be like dialed into a masterpiece, because it's like, I think the main thing is kind of just wrong. But it's so many like little things that felt like it probably wouldn't be that hard to iron out if you just had a little bit more time. But I get it. Sonic was like, it's Sonic's 15th anniversary. Get that fucking shit out. Plus, you know, we got brand new system. Got PS3 coming out. You better get it ready. And it's just like, oh, but it's just not ready yet. Well, you're the nerd at the computer. Well, you looking at me? What, you want more money? Is that what the fucking problem is? Here's $15. Go get yourself some fucking lunch and put the game together. You know, because
it's called 06 for a reason. We're actually not calling it 06. The fans kind of adopt.
And it's like technically Sonic 07 on PS3, because I saw that it didn't make it to PS3 until January. But
yeah, no, that was, I remember, yeah, I feel like I've said all I can say about that game. There there are good concepts in it, but it's just so rushed and so just thrown out there and never even got patches or anything. I'm sure there are some people, some fans who like, you know, made their own version of it that Sega doesn't care about. You know?
Yeah, there apparently is one in the works that I saw up on there that's going on, that someone's, in a sense, retooling that game.
There's actually another weird thing is, like, every game, you jump up in a ball and you hit something, you destroy them. That game, you have to do the double jump. You have to do the homing attack in order to kill them. If you just jump, it doesn't hurt them. You get hurt.
Oh, that's weird. I never ran across that part yet. But that makes, I guess, that'd be kind of the problem. But yeah, it's one of those games that, like, it sounds weird. Probably if that game was released on, like, PS4 era, they would have just put an update patch in there and would have fixed it. But, like, that would have been such a foreign concept. And, you know, 2000, let alone nobody probably had internet still. You know, or at least for their consoles and whatnot. So it's like there's no way you could do like a real like update patch for that game. You know, 90% of your fans probably still wouldn't, you know, get it.
Game-wise, I feel like it was the last time Sega said, let's do something really kind of ambitious or grand scale. And there's been games where maybe they started off with that, but then, like, whatever reason, things got rushed along and they decided to throw this thing out there for, like, you know, $40.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. It's like it's one of those games, like, I've been kind of just playing it in, like, in the background and whatnot, and it's like I'll get very frustrated at the game, I'll kind of put it down, and then I'll come back and I'll get farther, and then I'll get farther, and it's like, okay, well, I got farther, so let's go next, you know. And I think the last thing that I really did is I beat Silver in his that fucking battle right there was already such a pain in the ass because Sonic never looked at Silver. So you're running around in a circle, just waiting, like basing it all off audio cues that hopefully Silver's throwing up his, like, you know, telekinesis powers and you can jump up and hit him, because it's so obnoxious if you miss that and then he just catches you in midair, slams you down, and then picks you up right afterwards after you can't get any rings, slams you down and kills you, and you're like, dude, what this?
And you're stuck in this loop.
Yeah, it's just like,
it's no use. Like, hey. It's no use!
Yeah.
Like,
it was like one of those ones, like, I didn't think I was going to get past that part, and then I eventually got it, because it was just like, it was frustrating me. I was like, okay, I'm like, it's like 8 times over, let's see if I can do it this time, and then I finally did. Oh, I think the last thing I got to was the snowboard level, and I got to that, and it was just like...
and he's just like flipping, he's just like...
Well, it's the worst part, too,
you're just going uphill really fast on a snowboard, like, every time he glips, just like, whoop, just slightly does that little flip thing, yeah.
Well, this part, it's like, it tells you right off the bat, it's like, you know, hold down, jump, and then release it, like any snowboard game. Cool Borders, you know, 1080, you know, SSX, it's like...
Snowboard Kids.
Yeah, like, I know how to play a snowboard kid, or a snowboarding game, but it made it feel like, God, it's like, why is this so hard? It's that last jump.
Yeah.
Like, I still couldn't get past that last jump because I could never get Sonic to jump properly, and it just gives you the most biggest gorge he's got to cross, like he's fucking Evel Knievel.
And you're thinking, like, oh, when I get to this, like, you know, Shadow Moses, like, fucking base in a Sonic game, that should be pretty awesome, but it's still kind of like, doesn't really control that great.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. It's like, it's just on, like, the cutting edge, maybe just because it's like you just kind of want to see what happens next. So if I make just enough progress, it's like, yeah, let's keep going. But I think if I get to a point where I get snagged up a little too much, then it's like, oh, okay. You know, I'll give it the old college try. That's how I like to say it, you know. Because sometimes it's just kind of, there's just certain games that, like, you go, well, I had such a frustrating time with it back in the day, but let's give it another go. Because sometimes it's weird, like, you can come back in the future. It's like movies, where, like, you might not like a certain movie, like, at one point, then you come back and watch it and go, this is fucking great. What the hell was younger version of me thinking? Mm-hmm. And then there's some things where it's like, oh, yeah, I see why I was frustrated in 06.
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, what was the example I was going to make? This is going to make me sound like I could totally beat it if I want to. I just didn't feel like it. But it was that thing of, like, I did keep on dying on this one little thing. I know I could pass if I just did it right. It was some stupid little control thing. It was like it was near the end of Sonic's campaign, and it's basically at some point you're like you're running through this. It's like one of those levels where it's kind of like Burnout, where you're just moving straight ahead and you can't hit anything, otherwise you get hurt.
That would drive me up the wall, is when Sonic runs into any object, he loses rings. It's like, dude, what the shit is that? I've never seen that in any other Sonic game.
And there's like this part where there's like this, you're running across water, and it's basically this tube of water, and the waterfall kind of goes this way, but this other thing's going that way, and I'm not sure really which angle I have to lead more into. But if I die right there, then it basically, like, I have to start all the way back at a further point, and I don't want to play all this further point just to get back to the spot. Like, there's a checkpoint way too far back, and after a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm not having fun. And I already made up my mind. I don't like this game, so fuck it, So it's a Sonic game too.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those ones. I feel like I want to like that one more. I don't know, that guy who's...
I really wanted to.
Because it's like, and it sounds so weird. It's like, I just don't think that there's that many tweaks that really need to be done to fix it. I just felt like it's that one, like, there's generally that time period where, like, in a game, it's like, I feel like it's kind of those last 6 months where, like, the advertising team starts to work, but then, the game company's like, good, nobody's looking at us. Let's dial this game in and get rid of all the bugs and glitches and all the, the kind of the funky mechanics. Like, that game also really needs a lock-on camera, because half the time you can never see who the hell you're looking at. You're just, like, basing off faith.
Yeah, pretty much, so...
But, I don't know.
Yeah, 06, we got a little bit of side tangent there. But
it's all Sonic. It's all Sonic. I don't know. I feel like it's just been kind of like a Sonic, mode I've kind of been in, and just kind of going through certain games. And oddly, I'm going through all the games that most people would be like, if you're going on a Sonic marathon, most people think like, oh, it's going to, play Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and, something like that. It's like, no, I decided to go through, like, I'm going to go through Sonic 06. I'm going to go through Sonic Unleashed. I mean, I did play through Sonic 1, or Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and had a good old time with that. But yeah, no, sometimes there is that kind of thing where you want to kind of be reminded, like, what was this other, like, generation of Sonic like? It's been too long,
Yeah, and it is, I mean, for a lot of people like that game now, but younger people, because I think that's when their first Sonic game they played, so I think comes around to people being like, oh, you old school Sonic fans are elitists, or you guys have, like, you...
It's like Grandpa and his Sonic Spinball. Be like, oh, that game was impressive.
I actually don't like Sonic Spinball. I wish I don't like that one.
I feel like that was a game I liked a lot when I was a kid. And as I kind of go older, it's like, it's a pinball game that now, whenever you try to beat those 4 levels, sometimes it gets that point where it's like, make it up there, Sonic. Fucking have a problem.
You're like that kid, and like there's that Mario Got Milk ad where I want to say it was like, "Come on, Mario,
jump, Mario!" Just
jump,
Mario
Mario!
slapping his fucking like face on the wall.
And it's actually a level in the game, and from the game. And if you know where to go, it's just like, asshole, run around this corner, and there's like some like, or just do a backflip or some shit. It was something like I knew as a kid. And I was like, someone didn't do their fucking research when making this commercial. And then Mario jumps out and drinks the milk and gets big and walks over. But what's the example I was making?
Well, I just remember that commercial was always like the biggest. Every like gamer was like, bull fucking shit. Guess what? I'm not drinking milk now. I'm gonna go drink soy milk, which nobody did. But you know what I mean? Like it gave you that thing like milk doesn't understand me.
What was the Sonic equivalent you were talking about? You're saying you're playing shit.
Was it
like not 06, but there's something else you're trying. Oh,
Spinball.
Sonic Spinball. Yeah, and that game literally gave you that level. Come on, Sonic, Spinball, Sonic, come on, So it literally felt like that, but like I felt like that dumbass kid in that ad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was probably just the game that, like, I hate to sort of say it, that Sonic game was literally like an American person being like, Sonic's kind of like a pinball game, right? I mean, I know he's based off Pachinko and shit. Let's slap a pinball thing together. Use the fucking Looney Tunes Disney show or whatever. We'll use that as our kind of mock and then put it together.
They had a little bit of that, and they also had like in like a bonus stage, they had characters from the cartoon in there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as I said, like, as a kid, I thought that was fucking amazing. But I also didn't own that one for, like, well, I owned it a little bit later, but I didn't own it right when it came out. So it's like one of those games, you go to somebody's house and they have it, and you're, like, blown away, because you only played it probably for, like, a half an hour. So it seems like the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And then you kind of you're like, oh, it's 4 levels?
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a Motley Crue game that's out there that's just like this, but it has Motley Crue music playing at the same time.
Rather that
that's exactly what it's like. It's just literally Sega
I remember
bits.
That song too well.
Sega bits Motley Crue songs.
But no, we'll which as far as going back to Sonic, like just main Sonic, I guess the IDW comic. Going back to, I guess I'm not sure how far along we're gonna go, because at some point they do have these stories kind of like this story arc runs for three graphic novels straight. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure how far we want to go with these, but they're either way. I think it's a really fun series, and I'm gonna say it really helps if you like Sonic. But even if you were kind of like meh about Sonic, but liked comics, this would probably surprise you. Like, oh, this is better written than I assumed it would be.
It's like, I mean, that's how so many comic book kind of stories are. It's like, I feel like it always comes in and it can really like flesh out like a whole world, especially for like, you know, video games and so on, especially if they've kind of run into a little bit of a rut too, or, you know, having a little bit of trouble kind of coming back. Like, you look at this Sonic story and you're like, shit, all you need to do is, I mean, I hate to say it because you don't want to be that person who's like armchair directing Sega, but it's just like, literally just have Sonic running through sweet, cool worlds. You know, almost like make the game, like, I don't even care if like half the time it's almost like I'm not really playing. I'm almost like watching like visual, like, you know, form of just awesomeness. But you do that and then you just cut in these little like cutscenes in between with this kind of neat story, and you know, you got a solid game. I know Sega's always trying. I feel like Sega's always trying to get away from like Sonic runs so goddamn fast, it makes the levels go by so quick. You guys don't fucking get it. Like Mario runs slow, he can really like maximize one level. A Mario level, Sonic would be done with in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, and I also feel, well...
So can't we get him to stop? Give him a reason to stop. Can't he, like, throw a punch? You know what I mean? Or can't, like, a slower character come out and throw a barrel of rings? Like, God forbid, just...
Escort him out of the office, please. I'll say, I honestly, I hope the next Sonic game they actually give a story to, if there is cutscenes. I really hope they get Ian Flynn to... write it, because he clearly knows the characters, and this is like kind of working within the rules the game set up. And I guess it's kind of confusing because it does look like it's more Mobius and like Robotnik's the only human there, but they're referencing things from Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, which looks like it takes place in our world. And then you jump into other games where it's like, well, animals are the only thing here other than like maybe Robotnik, you know. So how all the real continuity works, I don't know. But this book, I think, does a good job of trying to make as much sense out of it as it can. And if there is a shortcoming in one of the stories, this book tries to find a way to smooth it out, or not so much retcon it to make it so it never existed, but try and give more explanation of certain things. Like they gave an explanation of why Tails was such a puss in Sonic Forces, where he was just like, I wasn't myself. I was kind of going through depression after you left, and I'm kind of back in the game now, so I'm going to be better about that in the future. You know what I mean? So they do other things like that throughout this series.
You know what makes those modern Sonic games even more amazing? This sounds so weird. Take off the English soundtrack, or the English dialogue track, which I always do anyways, but instead don't do the Japanese one. Put the German soundtrack. I don't know what it was. Like I was playing that one, and then the Sonic racing game with the German soundtrack on. I'm like, dude, this is, or not. I keep calling it soundtrack, audio track. The German soundtrack. You know, it changes all the music, so it's just like all like Rammstein and whatnot. But like, I don't know what it is, Sonic, especially Knuckles in a German voice. I don't know, that just put a smile on my face. I just felt like this is something I never knew I really wanted, but I realized I need to see the German version of Sonic.
I bet Knuckles is very intense in German.
Yeah, well, because then he also just has the big, deep German voice too, and whatnot. And
oh, is that?
I mean, it's like one of those ones. Like, I don't know. Nowadays, unless the game's an American game, I never really want like the English dialogue on there. It's like, no, give me the Japanese one. But now I'm going like, maybe I want the. I'm gonna start going with the European ones, yeah, the German ones, and so on.
I'm just imagining like this, like whenever Knuckles speaks, just like fucking Rammstein lyrics, like "Du hast."
But it does make for a magical experience, so keep that in mind. But whatever, going back to the comic, we start off and boom, it's like, okay, Sonic's still kind of getting together, like I guess you would say the crew, sort of by going on these side adventures, but he's got Team Chaotix that he's kind of meeting up here, and they're taking out, once again, all these kind of rogue badniks that have been kind of left on their own like will after Dr. Robotnik left. You know what I mean? They got to clean this shit up.
And I like how you get some one-on-one time with Sonic and some of these characters. Like Sonic and Espio, I think, play off each other very well. Like they're not best friends, but they're good enough friends. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of sense that like they like each other and they respect each other, but they're not like the best friends. Like they're not like that Sonic and Tails relationship, or even like say a Sonic and Amy relationship. More of just like, oh you, oh hey man, what's going on? You know, you do good. I like they don't like they know they got each other's back, but they may not go to the same kind of party. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those ones like because even Sonic kind of questions sometimes SBO here and there because SBO's a little bit more serious and whatnot. Sonic's just like, dude, whatever. Like,
well, I kind of like when SBO's explaining that like. They like so you guys found Robotnik. Like we kind of found Robotnik, and he goes in this explanation, all the little details they throw into when he's explaining how they got it, and they're having like quick little flashbacks. Like you see them sneaking by the robot that chases Amy in Sonic Adventure. You see Vector trying to get out of the mouth of that snake that's on the jungle casino level in Sonic Forces. You know, so there's a bunch of things like that, and even like SBO has like a quick thing. It's like, so we kind of found him. We had a lead. Like, you know, you could have left all the other stuff out. You could have gotten that part a little sooner. And he's like, I just wanted to let you know how hard we worked. Just like little lines like that.
I know, I love that. So then they kind of go to this village, and they're like, okay, so Sonic, like, okay. Maybe you need to sit down for this, you know, hold on. And then it's like, they pull out fucking, like, Dr. Robotnik's in there, and he's wearing, like, overalls and whatnot. He's like, oh, I'm the Tinkerer. And Sonic's like, dude, get the fuck. It's like, whoa, Sonic, okay, I know we jumped to the first time we saw it, but guess what? He's got amnesia, and after he fell from the sky on his head, like fucking Goku.
Well, I even like how when he gets there, before Vector, I think, even says anything to him, like, he's leaning against the building, like, with his arms crossed, like, he knows he's already gonna have to explain some shit. He already knows, like, fuck, here we go. It's like when you introduce two dogs for the first time, like, let's see if they get along first, you know, kind of like
yeah, like it's probably not gonna work out.
And then like, Charmy's like, oh, he's so cool! Like, all right, Charmy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, sure, just get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But it's just like they realize, like, oh shit, here's Dr. Robotnik, and now he's, you know, apparently if he hits his head real hard, he becomes the nicest guy in the world who fixes people's clocks and builds them like windmills and shit.
And I like how when Sonic says, like, I still don't know if I believe all this, because, you know, he's basically just gone in there fixing everything. And there's even this part where he says, like, the village elder comes in, like this old goat guy comes in and says, well, here's the thing, we found him, we threw him in like our dungeon, but then he broke out and then fixed and reinforced the lock, making it stronger, and locked himself back in there. I'm like, huh, okay. But I like when Sonic's kind of thinking back on like all the close calls they've had with Robotnik. They literally have, like, I mean, you could probably look and like figure out the game, and even if you don't know the game, you could probably go, okay, different boss battles or whatever. You see they have the Earth being fractured from like Unleashed. They have the time thing from Generations, Adventure 2 with the Ark shooting the moon, and then they even have, this is like such a deep cut, but like at the end of Sonic's campaign in Sonic Adventure 1, when you defeat Robotnik, his ship's just kind of like fluttering there for a minute, and the little like Tikal soul things go around. You just look out, he's up to something, and then it kind of tries to crash in you, chase you down. They literally take that part out.
Yeah, exactly.
That is like such a deep cut right
well,
there.
So yeah, because you had to have been at the very, very end of Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Adventure 1. But yeah, so Sonic's like, oh man, I don't fucking trust this guy. You know what I mean? Like he's done shit like this before, you know. And everybody's like, oh, just, you know, yeah. Like even Vector says something. He's like, yeah, like I get it, Sonic. Like I fucking didn't believe it. You know what I mean? But you know what? Here's the thing. We're still on the fucking case. We're gonna sit here and watch him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like even Vector, like even though like he looks like he doesn't want to be there. Even like he's like, all right, we'll just plow through this. And then I like that when like badniks come in, they're like the goat guy. He's just like, I think he's changed. Like badniks are attacking. He just shoots him a look like, the fuck you were saying just now? And then he goes in and checks on Robotnik. And he sees he's fortifying, like, where the children are. He's, like, making, like, a barricade. He says, like, I don't got the balls to fight, but I can try and protect the children. It's like, okay, maybe he has changed. Let's just keep an eye on him. And you go out there to knock out all the different robots.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of frees him and whatnot, and then it's just like, okay, so maybe Robotnik's fine. He's got green pants on, you can trust a guy with green pants. And then all of a sudden, it's like, of course, Shadow and Rouge come up and goes like, "What the fuck did he just say? He said he's making an eggland. Fuck that guy. I know what I'm not letting him make an eggland." It's like Sonic's like, whoa, Shadow, okay. You know what? 15 minutes ago, I was in your same shoes. I get it. But here, let me just explain. You know that the Chaotix are like, God, we have to do this every fucking time somebody new shows up. Can't they just show up all together? They got to show up at different times. And then there's this 15 minutes of hostility.
Like, fucking Vector, can you, like, make a video or something, just kind of filling everyone in every time they walk in, just put the DVD on or something?
Yeah, like, we'll sit them down, we'll make them a sandwich and whatnot, ease them into it, make some chamomile tea so they're calmed down, and not so just like...
They come in, they put the DVD in, like, wait, is this DVD minus R or plus R? Like, does it matter? Well, for this DVD player, yeah.
Fuck! Vector's back there burning another copy. He's like, shit, out of all the things that they could have fixed, we got a Windows 98 with a DVD player slapped in here.
We all did this on Windows Movie Maker. Shit.
Like, let me burn another copy for you guys. But Shadow and Rouge come in, and Shadow's just as pissed as all can be. Like, if Shadow had his way, he would just murder this old man right here, just like in front of the fucking children.
Well, I like that this is like a good balance of Shadow. I think I've heard people complaining about the way they depict Shadow in this book, and I think this makes sense. I mean, he's still kind of a dick, but at the same time, it's not without reason. You kind of like anybody walking in, they'd be like, "What the fuck?" And this leads to kind of like a Goku Vegeta, like Sonic, like Goku Vegeta kind of fight. With like only Sonic and Shadow, which I remember before it was always like in the Archie books, it was always like there always had to be some excuse or some reason for Sonic and Knuckles to fight.
Yeah.
It always had to happen. Like whenever they bumped into each other, they always had to fight for some reason. And now it's like
Knuckles ate the last donut hole, fucking Sonic was pissed.
He didn't care he was up on the floating island. He found a way up there just for that. He didn't even need Tails' ship. He got up there somehow.
Like Sonic drops the quarter and it falls into like the little like water gate and whatnot. It's like, and that was the last quarter they had for Street Fighter. Fucking Knuckles is pissed. Doesn't matter what it is. We're gonna give him the fight.
I feel like this But so the new kind of rivalry is no longer Sonic and Knuckles as much as it is Sonic and Shadow, and I like how the Chaotix, they get in their poses like, don't worry, we're gonna help with this, and then you just see like this trail of their blurs just going like bouncing all over the village down from mountains to like a very far away distant mountain. Like, well, I would help if I could keep up with them, and then like. SBO's like, I'm just recovering from fighting the other robots.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that are just like, oh, yeah. And even Charmy's just like, well, maybe we'll cheer from the sidelines. Like, yeah, Charmy, for once you had a good idea.
Well, I like right here, because Rouge is another character that I never really, as far as the newer, I mean, she's not new by now. She's over 10 years old.
She's 20 years old almost.
Fuck, don't tell me that. She's one of those characters I never really cared about, and I never hated her, but I just never really cared about Rouge. In this, though, I think they do find that good balance with the character, because she was always like, oh, I need jewels. Oh, I'm looking to, like, kind of flirt with Knuckles, sort of, kind of not, And right here, it's like, oh, no, she's kind of like... She's somewhat, even though she's a bat, she's kind of like the Catwoman of the series in some way, because... Yeah, she has her own motives, she has her own goals, but she's also a lot more cunning and more clever than other characters in the series. Like, Tails may be the mechanical genius, but as far as playing people and manipulating people, Rouge is a little better at that. But not just because, like, look at my tits, ooh, but more of just, she's already a few steps ahead. And I think this book does a good job of writing her like that,
Yeah. Another example I will use almost from like a Lupin the Third. She's like the Fujiko character.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Where like you don't think much of it at first, and then you're just like, oh shit, she's like 4 more steps ahead of everybody else. But she never let that on.
And she even says, there's this part where, like, why would you bring Shadow here? Why would you bring Shadow here and Sonic here at the same time?
And like, I love how it's Vector saying it. Like, geez, woman, like, what were you thinking?
You dizzy broad? Yeah, I feel like, because even though, like, I don't know, maybe something about him always gives me that kind of gumshoe 1930s detective. Even though he doesn't look like it, even though he looks like he's on his way to a DJ gig.
Yeah, as I say.
He kind of has that kind of, makes sense, it's a detective agency, but that kind of like, you can't trust these dames, Charmy.
Yeah, Charmy, keep that in mind. You know, stay with the dudes. You know what? If you have to suck a dick and be gay, you should do it, Charmy. It's better in the long run.
Because when it comes down to divorce number 4,
yeah, you know, you're gonna wish you just sucked that dick off the bat. Charmy's just go, oh, okay, sure. Vector's getting a little weird.
SBO just like does the ninja thing, like like arms crossed, like nods. SBO's basically Jin from Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, he very much is. You know,
I think that's why I like him. Even though when I was younger and I watched, I mean, it's still one of my favorite shows. But like, I think when I was younger, my favorite character was Mugen, and I still really like Mugen. But as I got older, I'm like, I think I like Jin more.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I think of my second watching of that, which back in the day, like I realized I'm like, no. I think I gravitated that direction too.
Yeah,
and it's like once like it's like kind of just like the Chaotix. I always like those characters. I think they're actually a really cool bunch, and you know they do appear here and there, but like I still almost feel like God, they could appear there almost even more, and I would be happy because they are pretty sweet. But maybe that's what makes them almost kind of better is because they don't appear that often too.
Yeah, and I think they are underutilized in a lot of things. And I think in this right here, there's this little scene right here where it's like, why would you bring them here at the same time? And then like, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing though that he is here rather than just Shadow finding out. And good thing you guys had an anonymous tip of where he was, and that gave you time to find Sonic just in case Shadow rolled by. Like, oh, they all like figure it out. And I like how Charmy's like, wait, what are we owing about?
he's like, I don't get it.
And the rest of them, like Charmy, I'll say this, by himself, he's kind of annoying, but in a group where the dialogue is divvied up,
yeah,
he's a little bit more, like, manageable.
Yeah, well, he's kind of fun as the group, because he's kind of like that guy who's just like, that's somebody's fucking nephew, so that's why he's in the group. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's a family thing of, like, we'll keep him around.
Well, in the Archie thing, that was literally the thing. Like, he came from, like, I watched this video, like, just summing up Charmy and the different... There's actually the Game Apologist, who does a lot of Sonic videos. And, the name, I'm not going to lie, seeing, like, Sonic videos, seeing something called the Game Apologist,
yeah,
I was a little, like, turned off initially.
I don't like that name. That name makes me feel like I'm getting somewhere that I don't want to be.
But it's not. His videos are very well made, and he makes a lot of really good points. So, it's basically like he looks for the good in things that people might beat up on. And Sonic is a frequent topic, you know, in video games. Sonic's something that is frequently made fun of, especially now. Mm-hmm. But he's a big time Sonic fan and brings up certain points I never thought of. But he made this one Charmy B video because he was doing this like November Chaotix, and he was just focusing on the Chaotix and Knuckles Chaotix, the game. And there was a Charmy video he made, and in the Archie comics, apparently Charmy was like royalty in his hive, and he was meant to be a teenager and this and that. But when Sega came down with all these new mandates, like, wait, he's a teenager? No, he's supposed to be a dumb, goofy, lovable kid. So cut back on that. And they had to make him like some kind of spell or thing happen, basically made him like he was on the verge of getting married, this and that. He got fucking brain damaged into being like a 7-year-old kid for the rest of his life.
Oh my gosh.
Just like, Jesus.
That's almost like darker than like anything that they're probably going with.
Yeah, so like, well, they said just make him a dumb kid, so that's what we did, all right?
Yeah.
So I find that funny. But anyway, this, and I'm not going to lie, it was this dude's video, which actually made me want to check out the Sonic IDW comics in the long run. So yeah, but anyway, not that video in particular. I'm just talking about this dude's channel.
Yeah.
But as the battle goes on between Sonic and Shadow, Sonic eventually gets to pin him down and say, "Look, here's the thing. You're saying you can't take a chance with Robotnik because we can't trust him, and well." What about you? You wanted to blow up the whole fucking planet at one point.
Yeah, he's like, you tried to kill me. And look at us now. Look at us now. We can hang out
We're
together.
like best friends.
Like, yeah.
We're not.
I mean,
Oh, we're
we
not?
see each other
Shit.
naked in the locker room before, think about it.
That is the thing, and don't take this as me, like, complaining, but I noticed there is that thing in, like, more modern Sonic designs. All the female characters, completely clothed head to toe. All the male characters, shoes, gloves, maybe another random piece of clothing somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like just dicks swinging around.
Yeah, it's just like, who cares, you know what I mean? And then it just Shadow kind of goes, yeah, you're fucking right, yeah. Guess what? Sonic's fucking right again. How about that?
What a How about you? And I like how when they're going back to the when they're going like I don't think it makes them look like a bunch of buffoons. I think it just more shows how good Shadow is at what he does. Like Shadow takes off and he's heading towards the building that Mr. Tinkerer is in. And the Chaotix like, all right, guys, here he comes. Get ready. Just chaos controls behind him and through there. Like, oh, we forgot he can do that.
Just teleports right on in and whatnot. But, of course, Rouge is already one step ahead again inside there and stuff. And even, Shadow comes by, he's like, show me your eggland. What is this deadly thing you're creating? I don't trust you. And he's like, and even Dr. Robotnik's like, well, okay. I wasn't going to, I was going to keep it a surprise for the children here because, they need fun, because... Look at this village. It ain't no fun there's no arcades. There's no fucking Sega Genesis lying around. I mean, what would you do if you were a kid here? You'd probably get into trouble, right? Well, I made an amusement park.
Well, in this town, it's also a coal mining town, so when they turn 12, they're given a pickaxe and told to go into the mine.
Believe me, I didn't set this coal mine up, that Robotnik fellow that, you guys are going after. He actually didn't set that up. True story. Not every mine here, and every factory, and every slave camp is made by him.
Yeah, so maybe every so often you might want to look in the mirror. Just saying. Anyway, yeah, welcome to Eggman Land. It's a nice little mini carnival inside of a gymnasium.
So yeah, it's pretty much a carnival of Sonic villains from number 1 and 2.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you think some of that, oh, okay, it's just a goofy little carnival. But you think the fact that it's villains from the game, which it might as well, in this world, it may as well be Nazi land. You think they would be a little more hesitant. Oh, it is just a theme park.
Oh, yeah.
No, never mind the swastikas, yeah.
Yeah, it's never mind it literally has the Robotnik design and trademark on it.
Yeah, and never mind that there's a merry-go-round where you get to ride Joseph Goebbels or whatever his name is.
Yeah, exactly, and then just the scary fish coming at you from the side. But, yeah, okay, so, yeah, theme park for the kids. And everyone's like, well, I don't really trust him, but, can't deny a good theme park.
And then they just okay, so I guess we're moving forward. And then you see, we go back to the chair, and we see the back of the chair has, Robotnik, the plan is working perfectly. Oh, well, okay, well, I guess one of them's a robot.
Yeah, because it turns around and you're like, well, so maybe it's either that or Robotnik has, a retarded brother that he dropped off one day. That was, the two things going through my head. I'm like, it's either going to be a robot.
This just turns into Sling Blade?
Yeah, and or he has just, a brother that's just, got kicked out, the club a long time ago and now is just living down there. It's kind of
whatever
weird.
animal people he's living with, he just they're in bed one night, they just wake up, he's standing in the doorway with a pair of scissors, I had a bad dream. Just go back to bed in the shed. I'm okay. Was he holding a pair of fucking scissors? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. One of those kind of things. Actually, flipping through
He's all talking about burying aborted fetuses and shit.
Yeah, it's
He was just a little fella. I found him in a box. Y'all want to see Eggman Land?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, do you think it's safe to ride? You know what? We'll let Timmy go. He's got nothing to lose.
Timmy,
he was just adopted. It's
you're an orphan, Timmy. You lost your parents in the war. Go on, get on the merry-go-round. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Robotnik killed your parents already, so it's not a big loss if you get killed by him too.
It just completes the circle,
I like how when we're flipping through going to the next issues and there's those little variant covers that are in between. I didn't notice this the first time around reading it, but looking at it now, there's this one here by Kieran Gates, and it's just Sonic blasting through all these cannons, taking out robots. But like almost in the olden days, this would have been like the blasphemy like one, because you would have looked down and be like, that's a Super Famicom controller mixed in with a Genesis controller. Like, what is this person thinking?
Well, now it's like they finally made that marriage. Like Sonic's.
Yeah, well,
Sonic
now it's like
stuff.
we settle it. We go to the Olympics every year together. Mario's like, he's like, I ain't inviting him to any fucking party, but we'll go to the Olympics together. That's make that fucking.
We can fight. We can knock the shit out of each other and smash.
I mean,
so often too.
Yeah, well, I'll punch the shit out of him and fucking smash. You know, it's okay, but you know, he ain't coming over to the house. He ain't going on no fucking Odyssey. Daisy, I'm looking at you. Don't you fucking invite him over. I know you have his fucking number. I don't want you to fucking bring him around the house. Don't you dare bring him around Yoshi.
If he comes over, he comes through the back door.
Where he fucking belongs.
I don't.
And you know what?
I don't want our neighbors. I don't want Kirby or Link seeing him in the house.
You know what? Yeah. You know, and I know some of those younger fellows, like the Splatoon kids, they don't fucking get it because they weren't there. But you know what? There was a big rivalry for a long time, and I gotta uphold that I fucking won. So every single time Sonic shows up, I want him to get on his fucking knees and apologize and be grateful that there was a fucking GameCube for him to come over to.
Yeah, we didn't make the real estate for him all that cheap either, but still.
No, we made him fucking work hard and shit. I mean, like, he had to work real fucking hard because even Master Chief was over there making him fucking work for him a bit, you know what I mean? So, we divvied it up.
I wanted to say, shit, what was the example I was going to make? It was something about Sonic being on multiple platforms or Sonic entering through the back of the house to get in. It was something like that. I guess it's... Oh, yeah, I remember what I was going to say. Smash Brothers. I feel like... Do you feel... I mean, I like Ken. And when actually playing Street Fighter, I think I might play as Ken more than Ryu.
I always do.
But I feel like it seems kind of weird to have Ken and Ryu in there, but only, like, just Sonic and not Sonic and Tails or Sonic and Knuckles. Like, I honestly think, like... Ryu... I mean, Ken could have been a separate costume.
Well, that's always been kind of like, I know it's a little bit off topic, but like Smash Brothers, like one of my only like kind of like minor kind of complaints to like, and this goes to like most of the Smash Brothers in general, is I think that a lot of stuff in there, they could just have, I don't know why there's not more costume stuff. Like a couple characters have those costume changes in there, but like, it's like even
Bowser Jr., he's all the different Koopalings.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that should be for like every character. I mean, even Link, you know, he's got a couple costumes of different stuff, but literally, why don't we just have a costume that's for like every single Zelda game? You know what I mean? Like, why not? Same thing if even Mario. Mario should have even more costumes. And even like, it's almost like Ryu. Here's a perfect example. Ryu could almost have a costume and play exactly the same, but have one for Ken, have one for Dan, have one for even Sakura. It sounds kind of weird, but like, all she needs is the female voice and just plays the same. Have one for, you know, anybody else you want to kind of throw in.
Akuma.
Yeah, Akuma. That like, there's another one. Boom, boom, boom. Like, I don't know why there's not more of that in there, you know? It's like, I don't know, that's always kind of bothered me, is I just wish there was more...
And if they were to do that with Sonic, if Sonic was just to be like, okay, well, Tails plays exactly like Sonic, it's just a different costume, like, I'll take it by this point.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, at that point, like...
Just, no more of this Mii Fighter shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I know it's not the real thing.
The Mii Fighter one always reminds me of, like, the lazy kind of way. It's like, well, there is a Geno you guys all wanted a Geno one, well, there he is as a costume, like, no, we want Geno, we don't want... You literally could have made, you know, you made so many goddamn Fire Emblem characters. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Fire Emblem, but Jesus Christ. There's enough Fire Emblem characters in there that they could have their own fucking fighting game. You know?
It's like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. At one point, you're like, don't get me wrong, I like X-Men. We can tone back on the X-Men, though. Now it's like, we'll just throw in, like, at least a couple more X-Men characters, because there's a period where they're trying to get rid of them.
Like, the new Marvel vs. Capcom, they're like, oh, okay, they don't like X-Men. Take them all out. Well, that's not what we said. We said we like the X-Men. Just, you know, maybe a little bit other Marvel characters. Oh, what do you want? You want X-Men or you don't want X-Men? Well, I want X-Men and I want other stuff.
I know what you guys want.
How hard is this to
You
get
want the
across?
Inhumans. You want Medusa. It's like, no, we don't.
We don't want the off-brand X-Men. the Inhumans always felt like that was like another company trying to make X-Men, but then when you realize, you're like, no, that's actually Marvel trying to make X-Men again, but inside their own series.
X-Men on the moon, yeah.
And they're always like the shittier X-Men. That's how I always feel. They're always like the characters that are like, yeah, you know what? The air was all toxic on Earth, and I was like, it's giving me asthma, and there's just so much problems down there. So we just thought we'd just go to the moon and just get away from it all. Like, okay, but you guys all have superpowers, right? Yeah, we do, but we don't really want to use them very often, you know, because it's kind of strenuous. And you're just like, God, who the fuck are these characters? Like, why are these cool? You know what I mean? Like, they're like the Marvel equivalent of the stupid fucking kids from the future in DC. Almost, they're just like
Legion.
Yeah, they're just like the characters you really hate and just like don't give a flying fuck about. That's how I feel. Like whenever I see the Inhumans,
I'll be honest, I never read any.
I never have either.
I never read any in here.
But I've ran across them in video games, and I've ran across them in like animated series enough to know that I don't care for them.
Black Bolt, I know Black Bolt doesn't talk. I know that.
Because if he does talk, it's going to kill everybody.
Well, it's the thing, like, I know that's kind of most I know about them, because if there is ever any scene with the Illuminati or something like that, he'd be at the table too, not talking, but just, you know, Professor X reading his mind or whatever. But, what was I going to say? But is the whole thing, like, we can't be on Earth too long because it hurts our lungs? Is that a real thing, or is that you just being a smart ass?
It's because... Yeah, like, I was saying, because I was just thinking of that from Marvel Ultimate Alliance, because, you know, when you go to, like, the Inhumans area and whatnot, and, you know, you kind of get, because those games really fill you in, like, on, you know, all the characters that you never read about before in a regular comic book, and I just remember that's like, yeah, we left Earth because it was polluted, you know, Captain Planet obviously didn't do his job 2 seasons in, and he was canceled. You know, and that was what we were holding out for. We thought Captain Planet was going to fix it. I mean, I know it's not Marvel, but, you know, sometimes it's fine to root for the other team. That's what they sound like. They'd be like, well, one's be like, you know, hey, guys, I was reading some DC the other day, and they had some good ideas. Thor just slams his hammer down, like, did you fucking say that? Did you ever fucking say that again? There's this fucking... What's it say on your fucking ID card? Like, when did Thor start getting Brooklynish? Well, you know, he was hanging out with Nick Fury and, you know, down... with Daredevil and you know,
Luke Cage, yeah.
Yeah, and Luke Cage, and, you know, Thor's trying to experience life from other cultures.
I just like that they're just all meek. Like, the one badass in the group can't even talk because, you know. So
be like, because that's I just remember that game.
Well, he has asthma, so he can't breathe in too fast. Yeah.
Because even in that game, it's like we show up the Humans, and Nick Fury's like, "Hey, what you guys doing? You know, we could really use your help and fucking, you know, fighting off Doctor Doom and whatnot." And they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't really want to fight Doctor Doom. That's sort of why we left." Like, yo, you're fucking superheroes. I'm fucking Nick Fury. When I speak, you listen. And I was like, oh, Nick, we just, you know, it's what we stopped. We didn't like paying taxes, so we decided that, you know, on the moon nobody has to pay taxes and cheese is free.
Might as well be Puerto Rico up here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And Nick Fury's just, you know, what's the point of being in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you can't make people, like, bend to your will?
They don't do your every single command.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, enough about Marvel and their Inhumans and crap. We get back to Sonic, and fucking Sonic and Tails are, like, fucking flying high again. Just up there and be like, we're gonna take out that egg carrier and see who's in fucking charge.
And I like how once they get in there with I like how Sonic's like, it's like, just get to the nearest computer and get this thing going. Like, well, I'm not good with fucking computers, Tails. How does this thing work? Oh, it's Wi-Fi Wi-Fi interface. So just hit the green button when it says go. Like, okay.
It would have been funny if he would have been inside there. He's like, shit, what'd Tails say again?
Well, it's like at the end of the day,
just,
it's just
looking at it like, okay, I see that there's only one button, but sometimes that makes it more confusing when there's less.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, though, it's like that does not come into play at all in this whole, like, when he actually gets in there, all this instruction. So I feel like it's almost more of like people are like, well, Sonic doesn't know how to hack anything. Like, to even stop that from conversation from even beginning, let's just put this in here. I like how there's
think
this
it's one
little
of those
Metal
ones
Gear
like
Solid
because
reference.
it's even like once Sonic's fucking out there, like I think it's like Amy or somebody says that, like, dude, well, so what you getting information in this? Like Sonic's like, wasn't enough fucking time for it. You know what I mean? Shit, were you there? Yeah, I didn't fucking think so.
Well, I like when he lands on like this airship. It's kind of like a Metal Gear Solid reference with the robot with the exclamation mark and then a question mark over his head.
Yeah, like whose footprints are these? You know,
And it's even like pixelated.
yeah, well, yeah, it's even like that, so it almost has an older feel. It's weird because you think about that because you're like, shit, Sonic feels like should be pixelated over Metal Gear Solid, but then you're like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of true. Taps in there, but then he busts in, and then it's like there's like the who you suppose is the evil Dr. Robotnik or what, but you're gonna figure it out.
When the top part of his face is all blackened out, the rest of him's colored, it's super rapey, especially when he's leaning over Sonic.
Sonic's got the fucking
smile.
Metal Gear Solid thing like, bleep! And even the robots behind him are like, we get leftovers from Master. Anyway, the song's like, whoa, fucking time out real quick. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna get raped, I want to know who I'm getting raped by, and I know you're not Dr. Robotnik because I just saw him the other day.
And I like how he jumps on top of this one robot's head and he's just trying to grab him, but it can't reach him.
He's like, my arms, they were built too chubby, and my head has no neck.
And then this thing turns into Neo Metal Sonic from Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, which I thought was actually kind of an interesting one, too. You're like, oh, shit. Because, it's kind of weird that I always feel like that's another character that ever since Shadow kind of came along, you see Metal Sonic here and there, but it's like, I almost feel like he got kind of pushed to the side, like, out of the way. We got enough fucking villains for Sonic to face that are like him. He's like, but I was the original
Enough
one.
Enough things just stole his likeness.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. But then he's like, he comes to explain his whole plan. He's like, I was being built and worked on while you were doing your Sonic Forces shit. And the second that I was ready to be sent off into service, the war got canceled. He's like this guy who's like, I was preparing to go in. They were training me to be ready for Vietnam. And then the last second, they pulled out the troops. And I was left there not knowing what to do. I just had a bayonet in my hand and my dick in the other one.
I said one way or the other, Charlie's gonna pay.
Yeah. And he's like, so I decided my master is the only person that people would listen to, so I decided to become him. And then once he returns, I will hand over the throne.
Well, and then this big battle happens between Sonic and Neo Sonic all across this airship. And it's like this very Dragon Ball Z-esque fight.
Yeah, they're just like bashing around, throwing in the walls, smashing into cannons and other robots and whatnot, and just creating havoc the whole way through. And I really think that's really the way, like, I almost picture Sonic fighting is something no different than, like, a Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. You know what I mean? He's super fast, especially if he's battling, like, whether it be Shadow or, Metal Sonic and what have you.
I feel like this version of Metal Sonic, they're trying to make him kind of more like Ultron. Like, they made something they couldn't contain, toppled with that. He's not as snarky as he is in the movies. Mm-hmm. But there's that line he says, like, where Sonic says, kill me now, you'll never know. And then he says, like, I have your biodata, I have original plan, I will sift through the ashes of this world if I have to. So, and then Sonic says, tell me or fall. And then another reference to a Sonic song. It says, I never fear the fall. And then intentionally kicks himself off into the air, and then Tails catches him, which that never feel the fall line, I'm pretty sure that's referencing... His World, the song that's in, to bring it back to the beginning,
06.
Sonic 06.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, that's, like, I mean, the lyrics can be a little weird and kind of cheesy, but I like the overall, that na-na-na, overall, like, the beat to that song. And I think that really kind of, that's one of the things that come out of Sonic 06 that I think, like, all right, that's good. I like that thing,
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a cool song. It's like one of those ones that takes like a moment to get kind of into, but once you kind of get it, you're like, oh, it's got a kind of a cool beat. It's it's neat and whatnot. And I like how even in this book too, they're not doing that thing because that's always something that always bothers me is like when people do that thing, they're like, well, let's just like act like certain things don't exist, and it's almost like this one's like, no shit, Sonic 06 still exists, but we ain't fucking saying it's not there and whatnot like that. Like we're gonna take, in a sense, that I think the thing you should do when it comes down to things that are like, let's say, a little bit subpar is. You look at them and go, well, what are the good things out of it? Because nothing is 100% bad. There's always something you can kind of pull, be like, well, that's kind of cool, or that element was kind of neat, and so on. And I think it's nice to keep that in there, like, because I always think the true fan even if it's not saying they're going to be like, oh, 06 is fucking amazing. Don't believe what anybody says. But I feel like the true fans should still go, 06 is still a game. It's still a Sonic game. And it's like that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like that bastardized child that everybody just wants to throw in like the fucking gutter with like the fucking, I was going to say the gutter. I was going to say throw it into the bridge with like the fucking goats and whatnot. But like, it's that sort of thing. It's like, no, it's still fucking part of the family. And you know what? It's going to fucking live here with the rest of us. I don't care if Sega's going to delist the game because they're trying to keep brand recognition up. Still a fucking Sonic game. They can't take it away from us.
Well, I also like how, going back to that, they, like you mentioned, they still acknowledge 06. Like, it's not like this huge, because, I mean, they have to, because Silver comes into it later. But, I like that even, what was I going to say? That they even reference Shadow the Hedgehog. They're like, remember that time when you teamed up with the Black Armies for a minute? And we had to stop those, and like Robotnik had to help us stop those aliens? Like, they just say, they don't make a big thing of it. Like, I don't think that character, the main villain of that game, is ever going to come in here, because he's probably one of the worst characters in Sonic. And that's, in all honesty, one of the worst Sonic games. But I like how the thing, like, yeah, it happened. We're acknowledging it happened. But that doesn't mean that it has to stay the worst things ever. Like, I don't like Silver in the games, but in the comics, he's well written. And if you can, like, redeem him in some way, then more power to you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of the thing. Sometimes there's certain ideas that sometimes just need a little bit more retooling and whatnot, and then it can kind of come back around and be kind of cool. You know what I mean? But after, you know, Sonic leaves Metal Sonic up there, Metal Sonic's like, that's okay. Doesn't matter how long you go for. I will always track you down. I will find Dr. Robotnik and whatnot. You know, he's going on his long speech. You know, Sonic's playing away. He's like, hey, Tails, there's some fucking annoying guy back there. You know, turn the radio up. You know what I mean? Like, where's those Crush 40 CDs at?
They're just like, put on, like, you know, the 90s, like, them bones. Like, oh, Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains, all right. Kick ass. I always feel like Sonic would definitely be that guy who's like, from like, almost like, this sounds kind of weird, but I'm going to use it like almost like a Duke Nukem, because Duke Nukem always remind me like that's like your like 80s uncle who never fucking changes. I feel Sonic's almost kind of like that in the same way, where he's like that 90s guy who's never fucking changed. Like, he's never going to fucking adapt to like the modern era. He's always going to be kind of stuck there and whatnot. So it'd just be like, hey, you know, Tails, I got this fucking tape of fucking, you know, Alice in Chains. Can we play it? Well, Sonic, I didn't fucking install a fucking cassette player in the new term. Why not, dude? Like, how am I going to listen to my jams if you don't fucking install a fucking cassette player? Like, just starts ripping shit out. Like, this can't be that important. And none of this stuff in here is like obviously like as important as a cassette player. That's the control module for the fucking plane. Like, yeah, whatever, we don't need it.
You can fly already. The plane just starts to do a tailspin down to the ground.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, Tails, I mean, I know you get tired after a while when you fly, but like, you're literally like my human fucking parachute. You know what I mean? Like, shit.
Like, why'd I ever idolize this asshole?
Yeah. Like, nothing's changed. Just him and fucking Duke Nukem go out on fucking weekend binges. Oh, God.
I like how Tails just become Robin from Drunk Batman.
I literally almost picture Tails' voice being kind of like that. Being like the guy who's like, when you're the guy that knows what everything that's going on and nobody fucking listens to you. And then I like, well,
pretty much
going back to the comic, they show up in the, like, you know, the Resistance place and whatnot, and Sonic's is like, okay, so yeah, that's what the story was, and fucking Tails saved the day, and we fucking flew out of there, fucking blaring some them bones, like, yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
They have this whole, like, G.I. Joe moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how everybody's like, whoa, fucking Neo Metal Sonic? You know, that thing just came out of nowhere, and, so, you know, Sonic's like, yeah, no big deal. Like, we beat him, like, how many times? I mean, how many times more can we beat him again, you know? It all worked out, and then Amy's like, okay, Sonic, so did you download anything? Did you get any fucking data? Did you get any plans? What is he fucking up to? I don't fucking know. I showed up there, I busted in, I looked fucking cool, and then next thing you know, we got into this big scuffle, and he was talking and shit, but like, you know, kind of went over my head and whatnot, you know. Wasn't that big of a deal. I was just saying, like, how can I beat this guy? And then when I realized, it's like, you know what? He got a little bit more powerful. You know, I kind of pulled my neck this morning. I don't want to strain myself any farther, so I'm out of here. See ya.
I want to go to that chili dog stand before it closes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so you had the ability to defeat him, but you got hungry, so you didn't? Like, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you know. When nature calls, baby, am I right? Fucking high fives Tails. No, you're not fucking right. Yeah. You were a lot better when you were my biggest fan.
Yeah. Just putting that out there.
So Nux, what up? Let's go talk in private, away from the skirts. I'm a boy too. Hey, you're not in the man category yet. You know what I mean?
If you need us, we'll be watching Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, Come on, Nux, let's get out of here.
and then that's where we see like Neo coming in, like, fine, I will take the precious Angel Island and the Master Emerald with it. That whole kind of thing. So we see him moving in on because Knuckles is not at his post. Yeah,
well then Knuckles even has this thing where he's like, he's like, his fucking spider sense kicks off. He's like, whoa, I have a calling coming. The Emerald's been taken away.
Later down the line, he has that. And the next one, it's like Sonic's going into like another old Eggman base and just trying to clear it out, just fuck with some robots. And then that's where he bumps into Silver. And this is where you see Silver is like, he's more well written by now. Like, he's a little more, he's naive, but he's not stupid like he was in the comics before, like in the games before.
No, yeah, he's not too bad in here, and I even like because they do make him kind of different. They don't make him totally like, oh, I'm a psychotic, I'm a psychic guy with superpowers. I'm so strong. It's almost like he's kind of like, even though he's got all these abilities and strengths and whatnot, he still has a little bit of fear and whatnot. Even Sonic has that look on his face, like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? It's like, yeah, a sniper bullet goes over your head. It ain't that big fucking a deal. You know what I mean? Like, Sonic's literally like, what's his name in fucking Apocalypse Now, when like everybody's fucking firing and he's still standing up. Shit.
The guy with the scar on his lip?
Yeah, and the scarf on and everything like that. Like, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Shit, what's his name?
Wait, that's Full Metal Jacket. Or you say Platoon or Full Metal Jacket?
No, I said Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
I know there's a lot of Vietnam going around, but yeah, it's sort of like that, where like Sonic's just like, yeah, whatever, and then even like Silver's like, but it's probably the Guardian Angel and whatnot. And at first, when he was saying this Guardian Angel thing, I started thinking, like, is that supposed to be what he's referring to as like the made-up character in Sonic Forces?
For a split second, I think it's kind of a placeholder for that to some extent. Not literally that, but apparently some of the things that this character they're leading into, Whisper, she apparently has, like, I think some of that stuff is stuff you could dress your character in. So I think it's meant to be somewhat of a placeholder for that, but not entirely. Because Sonic was like, hey man, you're my new best friend. Okay, off to your own adventure, bye,
Yeah, exactly. Because they have this, new kind of character, Whisper, come in here and whatnot. And I even love how, like, there's a part where, like, I think Sonic, like, says something and whatnot, and she kind of, like, freaks out and jumps back. He's like, shit, what the fuck happened to that chick? Like,
yeah, well, it's also, first off, like, I like how, Silver gets all giddy, like, schoolgirl giddy, like, oh my god, it's the Guardian Angel. You don't know about the Guardian Angel? It's just like, I spent 6 months in a small spell in space. I missed a few things.
Yeah, it's like I was in a POW camp. Where were you, Silver? Oh, I was, at home meditating in the comfort of my own house, where it was nice and warm. Yeah. I went back to the future to see if, like, it fixed everything, and it was fucking weird. I went back there, and, there was no robots, but then there was no good guys. There was nobody there. So one of you guys fucked up. That's all I'm saying, because my future still sucks dick. Like, Silver, you and your future. Why don't you just live in the present, man? They're like, yeah, I tried living in the present, and it fucking sucked, so I came back in time. You and your time travel.
Don't be doing this shit where you just blame every generation that came before you. Fucking do it. Figure something else out, you fucking bitch. Like, oh, well, I'm just saying, I have the ability to go back in time, so if I can fix it, I might as well.
So I was just like, you know what? You're like that Woody Allen movie. You're like Owen Wilson right now, and you come back in time thinking that it's always going to be cooler back in the day, and then you just realize that everybody fucking romanticizes about, like, the couple, 30 years before them and wishing they lived there. And that maybe it's not as cool as it was in your future, Did you ever think about that? I read that in the back of a chili dog.
No, but I think that there's someone shooting at us again.
Yeah. It was the review, Sonic ain't got time for movies, and let's get Chuck Norris in it or something.
Chuck Norris or Brandon Lee.
Those are my two go-to staples.
The Brandon Lee list is a little shorter, let's be honest.
Yeah, so Chuck Norris makes up for the rest of that.
But basically, he talks about how there's this mysterious, like, figure that never actually officially joined the Resistance back in Sonic Forces, but would help him out. And there is this picture, which I'm sure it wasn't meant to look this way, but you see Silver like down on the ground looking. See, like the one time the Guardian Angel actually saved me. And you see him down on the ground, on his knees, looking over his shoulder with great fear, with this robot looming over him with a bullet going through it. So it was just like, it saved me from getting fucked this one time.
Yeah, he's like, so I've always been very grateful since then.
A lot of fuck jokes in this episode, but and then they see her trying to get through this door, like, oh my god, that's her, and they say, you know, like, oh, hey, how's it going? And she gets all freaked out. And, like, Sonic's like, oh, well, we don't know what the fuck's wrong with her, but she probably has some kind of damage from Robotnik. Like, she saw some shit that made her be more different from people. And, like, Sonic says, like, oh, hey, what's your name? Like, Whisper. Like, cool. Like, why do we have to whisper? Like, no, that's her name.
Oh, yeah. I even like, too, because
I like the generator thing is, like, one of the bosses that Gamma fights in Sonic Adventure.
Oh, that is true. I forgot about that. But I also like, too, because even, like, Silver the whole time, she's like, she's amazing. Like, I really got to be on her team. And, like, Sonic's like, dude, maybe, like, she doesn't want to be a part of the team. Maybe she's, like, a solo player. Like, you know, she likes playing tennis as singles, not doubles. You understand, Silver? He's like, no, Sonic, I can't believe you'd be thinking that. Like, she needs a partner. She needs me. And it's just like, yeah, well, God, Sylvie, sometimes I just want to slap the shit out of you, you know. Well, the Sega executives aren't looking.
Already done that.
Yeah. And then I think when they get farther ahead, that's where fucking Knuckles has that like spider sense moment where he's like he has that look on his face, like, you know, like when you like left the house, and you're like, all of a sudden, fucking 5 hours later, like, shit, did I leave the stove on?
Yeah, he definitely has that. Well, first off, they just get in this big battle. Sonic, Whisper, and Silver all work together, and it's a really cool scene. And I do like what I do like with this comic is it's not always just the typical Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Like, they really do interesting pair-ups, like interesting team-ups you don't always assume. And even though Sonic and Add Whoever makes sense, but Sonic and Silver, and then this new character, and she's basically the shooter character, but it works in a way. I think it's kind of a cool battle scene they have here, and then right when they're done, like a Eggman like icon appears, and you see Whisper get like this psychotic look in her eye, like she's almost on the verge of tears, and she's running at it with like a hammer, like no wait, no, there's info we still need on that computer. And she's like, okay, like, shit, what the fuck happened to her?
Yeah, I love that part. So I'm just like, God, the hell happened?
And I like this right here, though. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't like, well, it's not that, like, oh, I like this saves the book or anything, but it's just something I noticed. When I was a kid, I remember crap being, like, not entirely a curse word, but, like, that middle ground. Like, you could still get in trouble for saying crap.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I mean?
if you said crap in the middle of class, you were probably getting sent out or something was going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, and I always consider, it's kind of like, I feel like crap, it's like crap and damn are kind of like in hell. They're almost like those, like, borderline, like, the low-end kind of swear words, you know what I mean? Like, you probably don't want to say that in front of your grandma, I guess, is what you're kind of going with.
But right here, like, so when I'm flipping through a Sonic book and I see that, even though by now I've seen way worse, and they even say that kind of thing in, like, Shadow the Hedgehog, the game, I'm kind of like, whoa, did they just say crap in a Sonic book?
I know it's the same thing, too. Well, those are those kind of things that it doesn't really matter how old I get, you kind of get that point where you're like, oh, shit, you that almost like, you don't expect that. You're like, oh, they're getting a little bit ballsy there. Shit, this just earned them a TV PG.
Yeah. And then that's right where Knuckles has the whole, like, my emerald sense is tingling.
Yeah.
And that's where
Amy's like, sit down, I'll get you a cup of tea. You don't know.
That's where you see Robotnik. That's where you see a Neo Metal on top of, like, an Angel Island, basically. Like, I'm running this shit now, and that leads into the next book.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, these Sonic books so far are super fun. Like, I've enjoyed both of these ones the whole way through. It's almost like one of the best. It's just like the Pokemon Adventures. It's almost like one of the best ways you can kind of get, like, your full Sonic fix with, like, just, you know, knocking it out of the park on every level. The art's good. The story's good. Utilizes all the characters well. gives you like the classic feeling all at the same time too. You know what I mean? Taking you back, whether it be the Genesis era or the Dreamcast era and even beyond. Like, it's really like the ultimate way to like, you know, to get your Sonic fix in.
Yeah, and I think the next one kind of fixes up this arc. Like I want to say it slaps a bow at the end of this arc right here. And then the following one leads into a big new arc. And I'm not sure how far we want to go. It's all a pretty good series. I'm going to say at some point it does like... I mean, I guess they're all... Because I think each graphic novel is 4 issues.
Yeah.
So I think that... I want to say, so I mean, by the end of the day, like every 3 issues, you got your, you know, you got a year's worth of story there. So, I'm not sure how far you want to go with this. I think we should definitely cover the next one, and then after that, decide if we want to go further. And it's not like it gets bad. It goes on. It's the same story for another 3 issues. You know what I mean? Not this. Story,
Yeah.
but
Well,
it's
it's like anything. You take a little break, you know, maybe after the 3rd one and so on, and then you know you have something new to come back to later on. You know, you savor it.
And I think volume 8 comes out in some point in February, like mid-February, I think.
Cool. Well, no matter what, though, I'm totally digging this. I like this book a lot. These comics are fantastic. Kind of makes me even want to, like, even in the future, you know, go back and pull out some of the Archie ones too. Or shit, I was seeing online. There's a fucking British company in, you know, England and Europe and whatnot. They had their own Sonic run of comics too. So that almost sounds.
Fleetway, yeah.
Yeah, that almost sounds kind of interesting too. I'm like, oh shit, those didn't come over here. At least they didn't come over here, you know, in regular stores. But that could be kind of fun as well. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. Still carrying on my Sonic mode. Still makes me want to go, well, maybe I'll give that fucking snowboard level another go now. Sonic 06.
I just got Street Fighter 5, so that's been my main game right now. Because I've have all these years of not playing Street Fighter 5 because I was waiting for the Championship Edition to come out. Now that it's finally here, I've just been playing through that. That's been my big mode right now. But Sonic's still always there to some extent.
Well, it's never a better time to jump into Street Fighter V than right now. Like, that's what I felt. I was selling that Championship Edition when it kind of came out. I was like, dude, this is the way to go. You want to buy this version now and get your Street Fighter fix in. And sadly, that's how fighting games kind of are. It's almost like you're better off not buying them until like they've been out for a good long while and you get everything. It's like the Mortal Kombat one. I waited till that Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate version came out because I'm like, I want everything. I don't want just the minor package. Give me the full game. You know what I mean? Don't give me the half game. Give me the full game.
This might, I don't want to keep us lingering too long, especially when it's just something I could probably look up, but is Kagi or whatever, is that supposed to be the new Evil Ryu? Is that like Evil Ryu, like final form or something like that?
I think it's something like that. I remember.
They finally just go like, you know what, we're going to kind of rip off Tekken a little bit, because they already kind of ripped us off, so...
Yeah, exactly. We do one of those kind of things and so on.
Devil Jin, sort of. Like, let's even give him horns, kind of.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I know which character you're talking about in Street Fighter V. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're going with. They're literally doing a Tekken thing there.
Okay. I was just wondering, but yeah. I haven't played his story mode yet. I just played arcade, but yeah. Okay.
But, yeah,
anyway.
Beyond that, go to oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys, old animations, and all that fun stuff. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunnigan.
Hey, we'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.